What's going on, guys? Smitty back with another video here, and this one's going to be a little different. You can see I went minus a couple here, 2 fails, and then 6 3-stars in a row. I'm trying out the Electro Fang charge on the Dragon Duke. And as you can see, the first 2 attacks, I had the Phoenix and failed, and then I put the jelly in, and it worked like a charm. So let's go over it. Starting off with the Phoenix, I'm just not good enough to use it, I'm thinking. Because it takes a lot of skill to path him correctly with the Phoenix, because you have to make sure he doesn't target the wrong trash buildings. So like right here, he targets the elixir storage more than a few times, and basically I get very little value without a funnel. So this attack, I'm not even going to show you because it just goes poorly. My troops split, I barely get the town hall, and it ends up with that 2-star that you saw. But I changed to the jelly, and this is why. It's just easier for me to path him into the stronger defensive sections and get the defenses that I want taken out. So as you can see here, I'm going for this monolith on the bottom side. I want to take out this little compartment here. I was kind of hoping to get into that rage tower, but I didn't realize there's a Tesla farm over here. He kind of got stuck and eventually makes his way into the monolith to take it out. Now, I will say, if you path the Phoenix correctly, I think you can get more value, because that Phoenix will keep him alive a lot longer and let him use his ability, but I think it's okay. We're going to path the Duke in here, and you can see I have a great funnel. I basically cleared out this entire bottom compartment from 9 to almost 3 o'clock. There's just that little small section left and a fire spitter, which unfortunately it would have been nice for the fire spitter to go down, but we're just going to have our dragons and dragon riders, the typical Hydra, follow it up. And when we follow it up, we're just going to basically use that funnel we set originally, put our queen in to funnel the other side, try and shoot out any sweepers with her giant arrow, and push our way towards the middle of the base. You can see I overgrowth this bottom corner compartment because I know we're going to be going into a rage tower. So some of those defenses that would have been raged are now overgrowth. And then we're just pushing through this section of the base. And it's going to end up in a 3-star. Now, what about the push? So here's what I want to do. I want to, instead of the repetitive same strategy all the time, making 4 to 5 hits, showing you guys how I'm doing it, I want to try different armies throughout the month that we see on YouTube. So, for example, this attack, I am using Itzu's army with that one change for the jelly to the Phoenix. And I'm going to try it. And I'm going to let you know if it's good or not, basically. I'm going to put it into one of 5 buckets. It's going to be easy and good, difficult and good, situational, bad and good, or bad and easy, and bad and difficult, basically. Obviously, if it's in the bad categories, you're probably not going to want to use it. If it's in the good and easy category, that's going to be the best. If it's in the good but difficult category, I'm thinking stuff like Fireball, stuff like that, where it's super strong, but it's a little bit more difficult to pull off. So let's get into attack number 2. I'm going in on this attack right towards this revenge tower and trying to take it out. As you can see, I still am not pathing the Duke 100% correctly, but I do get out a good chunk of the base, about 15% in this bottom corner, and it sets a perfect funnel for my dragons to start at 9 and basically work their way up and around and back to the 3 o'clock eventually. So we put our dragons, dragon riders in, and we have a few freeze and a few totems. Now, I will say, save your totem spells if there's a logger guardian. It's really helpful to distract him and make him shoot the other way. Otherwise, if you run into him without any totems, it can get a little difficult. Use the freeze spells earlier in the raid, or if you have a raged up 3 multi-compartment like this one, towards the back half to just get your troops through it without a ton of damage coming on to everything. So We're pushing in. We're going to use that Minion Prince ability just to freeze up that entire section, which is perfect. And you can see I've revived the Duke, and now he's just working on the top side. He does have that Fire Heart, so he's basically just regenerating health up there the entire time. And as you can see, he's going to get taken down in this little compartment, but basically got a lot of value on that top. Now, at this point, you can see the Hydra is so good that it just pushes through the rest of the base. It's definitely the strongest army by far right now. So let's head into the next attack and we'll break it down a little bit more what you're looking for. So with the Dragon Duke, the main thing you're looking for is to set a funnel and to take out as many key defenses as possible. But the funnel is more important. So as you can see here, I'm coming in from around 2 o'clock and we're going to push into this base and we're going to actually get pretty far. And my idea is that I am setting a funnel for my dragons and dragon riders to come in at 1 or noon, where this town hall is, and sweep around towards 6. You can see with the Duke, he's taken out this entire area, making that very possible. Now his angry jelly wears off, and he's just going to work around this bottom side and actually regain health and come around and rejoin our army, which is kind of crazy. But you can see I've set this funnel absolutely perfectly. So I'm going to use my queen to go ahead and shoot out the sweeper that is behind the town hall. Right there. Which is perfect. And then we're going to use our dragons and dragon riders right into this town hall. And as you can see, almost half, I would say half of that section is gone. That whole bottom half is gone. So they have only got half of the base to focus on as they push through. And then as they come around to the backside, you hit the full end of the base, but it's kind of like an L-shaped section that they will follow all the way around. Now you have a few cleanup troops you can use to try and clean up some trash buildings with like this baby dragon that I'm going to put over here at 9. Just trying to keep my troops more central towards the base. I was hoping to take out that archer tower. It just walked around and got taken out. Didn't really do much. But as you can see, we're pushing into the backside. I overgrowth the back end of this L so that my troops stayed all together while working through the base. I revived the Duke, and he's going to work his way towards that revenge tower and take it out. And at this point, we've got a lot of troops left, not a lot of defenses left, which means we're just going to overpower it and end in a 3-star. Now, this is where the army is, I think, in my opinion, incredibly strong, is if you can get your Hydra to link up with the Duke and have him pushing with the Hydra, he's a lot better than he would be with other equipment. And the reason why is the Electro Fangs. He gets that chain value no matter if he's in the raged up, his passive is alive. I don't know what you call it. If he's raged up or if he's not. So he's still getting that electro bump, and it's also taking out skeletons and other pesky troops. So again, let's look at this one. We're going to come in from this bottom side, and our idea is that if we take out enough of the base right here, we can path our dragons straight to the town hall, overgrowth that section up at 12, and just let our dragons and dragon riders push through the bottom. So as you can see, I'm working my way in. And to be honest, guys, I'm not even doing that good of a job with my push. The invis spells are tricky. And I got a tip towards the end of my attacks from Shock where you aren't really looking at the Duke as much as you're looking at the buildings. So when you're dropping your invis, you're dropping your invis almost 3 tiles away from the building that you want to take out. The radius of the invis spell is 4.5 tiles. So you're looking at about 2.25 tiles exactly. But I noticed that if I try to get around 3, typically the Duke stayed invisible and the defense was not invisible. But a lot of times I messed that up because I wasn't prepared or I didn't know what defense he was going to go to. And then as you quick panic, try and drop the invis, you might make the defense invisible. But as you can see, I didn't get a huge ton of value. And at this point, my army has pretty much taken out most of this base, and there's still quite a lot of troops down on the bottom side. The overgrowth finally wears off, and we've just got this section here that is going to be a little bit of a problem, but we have freeze spells to go ahead and freeze up the defenses and quite honestly make this a very, very convincing overkill. So, like I said, the most important part of the Duke charge isn't necessarily how much or how many defenses you can get. It's more about how good of a funnel you can set for the rest of your troops. So this one, again, we've got a box base, which typically would probably be a problem for this army. But what you can do is use those invis spells and just push them right into the core. And at that point, I'm going to use that pathing to go ahead from 9 o'clock and basically make my L from 9 to 6 to 3. And as you can see, he's pushing his way in towards these defenses and using that shock to chain value through the base. Now, as you can see, I made that defense invisible. Would have been better not to, but it is what it is. He chases some CC troops and dies right in the middle, using that death damage to get a lot of value. Now, I'm going to use my Queen's Giant Arrow from the top to shoot out that sweeper on the backside. Very important. And then we're just going to use our Dragons and Dragon Riders in from 9 o'clock, like I said. And as we push through, you'll see I'll overgrowth towards the 12 to 1 o'clock area, just to keep my troops pathing straight towards this Fire Spitter. I'm using my freeze spells on this Fire Spitter and Super Wizard Tower as soon as I'm outside of my Warden's Eternal Tome, obviously, just because those are raged up and doing a lot of damage. My Queen goes down on the top side, that's okay. And as my troops work through here, I'm getting ready to place my overgrowth to keep them pathing straight towards this bottom and walking around that Revenge Tower, which is more or less the biggest threat to my army at this point. So once I overgrowth that, I'm going to use my Minion Prince ability to freeze up the back end of the defenses, and then revive my Duke, who's going to work his way through some of these buildings on the backside with the Minion Prince, while my dragons take out the other side of the base. And at this point, I'm just saving a freeze and a totem until that Revenge Tower comes back online. We'll use the freeze, and then we'll use the totem on the air defense, and push through the rest of the space pretty convincingly yet again. Moving on, final attack. Another diamond base. I like to come in from the sides of these, so I'm going to come in from the, let's say, 11 o'clock side, and we're going to try and take out this Fire Spitter. One thing I will note, try and get your invis down before he gets shot by a hero. One of the things that's a little problematic, or a guardian for that matter, one of the things that's a little problematic is if he just starts chasing heroes or CC troops around the base, kind of like he's doing right here. I feel like if I would have used my invis spells better, I would have gotten a ton of value, whereas right now he's kind of like targeting some CC troops. I make those invisible, then he's going back to the guardian. I made him invisible, he went back to the CC troops, and we really only get a small corner of this base taken out, which normally you'd think, okay, we might have a problem. But it's more about the funnel, guys, because look, I've got a pretty good funnel set. My Queen is going to funnel the outside, and my Dragons and Dragon Riders are going to work in behind the Sweeper and the Fire Spitter on this side and just push through this base. Now, you will say there is a pretty dangerous section on the backside here with the 2 Super Wizard Towers, the Revenge Tower, and the Multi-Inferno. But we can use our freezes and totems and our overgrowth to take that out in sections. So normally I would freeze or overgrowth over to the left there, but since that's such a hard-hitting defense area, I just overgrowth half of it. If you overgrowth half of it, you can deal with one hard-hitting section first, and then once they're done with that, typically the overgrowth wears off, and you can just hit that other hard-hitting section. As you can see, the Duke is cleaning up on the other side of the base, and I still have a ton of troops left. Even though, quite honestly, my original Duke charge was very lackluster, I'm still absolutely crushing bases. So I'm going to say this base, all in all, ends up in the good and easy category.